Good morning, America. New overnight, neck and neck. Our latest ABC News tracking poll showing Hillary Clinton's lead evaporating. Now slamming FBI Director James Comey for announcing a review of newly discovered emails.
It's unprecedented, and it is deeply troubling.
As Donald Trump seizes the moment.
Hillary has nobody but herself to blame.
The breaking news, an earthquake in Italy, the third in just days. Buildings destroyed. The moment this basilica toppled, nuns running for safety. The damage reports coming in right now and the fear of aftershocks.
Runway fire, passengers reliving their terrifying escape when this plane burst into flames on a Chicago runway.
Everybody was already running and screaming.
This morning, the NTSB revealing engine parts were found a half-mile away.
And one game away, Cleveland topping the Cubs at Wrigley.
3 games to 1.
Helped by this big blast.
It is gone.
They've now got a 3-1 lead in the World Series. Can they win it all tonight, or will there be a Cubs comeback?
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hello on a Sunday morning. We want to say thank you for joining us here on GMA. And we do begin with an embattled Hillary Clinton trying to go on offense.
Overnight, she ripped into the director of the FBI, James Comey, who rocked the Clinton campaign with the announcement just days before the election that his agency is now looking into a batch of newly discovered emails that may be relevant to the investigation into Clinton's now infamous private server.
Yeah, meantime, Donald Trump is on offense as well. There he is overnight, out on the stump, pressing his case with renewed vigor. And the latest poll numbers, look at these, have to be putting an added spring in his step. According to the latest ABC News tracking poll, Clinton's lead has shrunk to just 1 point. Look at the change over the past week. Clinton's lead going from 12 points down to 1.
This thing is tight, and it is late, and we have team coverage this morning. George Stephanopoulos is standing by with analysis, but we're going to start here with ABC's Mary Bruce, who's with the Clinton campaign in Miami. Mary, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Well, with the clock ticking, the Clinton campaign this morning is in full attack mode, going directly after the FBI director, accusing him of being vague with the facts and opening the door to conspiracy theories.
Some of you may have heard about a letter that the FBI director sent out yesterday.
With 9 days to go, Hillary Clinton is ripping into a new opponent, FBI Director James Comey.
It's pretty strange to put something like that out with such little information right before an election.
Clinton questioning the director's motivation and demanding answers.
In fact, it's not just strange, it's unprecedented, and it is deeply troubling.
And she's getting some backup. Top Democratic senators drawing a line in the sand. In a letter to the FBI director, setting a Halloween deadline for him to release more information about the emails and this investigation. ABC News has learned the director's announcement sparked a fierce internal feud at the Justice Department. Sources say senior justice officials strongly objected to Comey's decision to go public and announce its review of newly found emails possibly linked to Clinton's server. It's long been tradition for the agency not to take investigative action close to an election, for fear it could be seen as meddling. But in an internal staff memo, Comey says he felt an obligation to tell Congress anyway, even though there's no evidence of wrongdoing by Clinton. Now Clinton is accusing her opponent of distorting the facts for political gain.
Donald Trump is already making up lies about this. He is doing his best to confuse, mislead, and discourage the American people.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next and first female president of the United States, Hillary Clinton!
Overnight in Miami, Clinton tried to shimmy and shake it off at a rally with Jennifer Lopez.
No matter what they throw at us, we don't back down. Not now, not ever.
So a big party overnight, Mary, but one thing that a lot of people have noticed is that a key Clinton aide was not out on the trail with her yesterday.
Yet they're so close, she's been called Clinton's shadow. Huma Abedin, Clinton's top aide, has been noticeably absent from the campaign trail. Huma Abedin is, of course, at the center of this controversy. It was a computer that she shared with her estranged husband, scandal-plagued former Congressman Anthony Weiner, that led to the discovery of these new emails that may be linked to Clinton's server. Dan and Paula?
Yeah, that's a big question where she is. Thank you very much, Mary. And a reinvigorated Donald Trump is attacking Clinton over the email scandal, calling her actions, quote, willful, deliberate, and criminal, and maintaining that in his assessment, this is bigger than Watergate. Now, Trump is holding a rally in Las Vegas this morning, and that's where we find our David Wright. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, Paula. 3 guesses what theme he'll be hitting hardest at that rally. Whether he intended to or not, the FBI director has thrown Trump a lifeline, and Trump has seized it.
This is the biggest political scandal since Watergate. And it's everybody's deepest hope that justice, at last, will be beautifully delivered.
This surprise encore of Hillary Clinton's email scandal came not a moment too soon.
Hillary has nobody but herself to blame for her mounting legal difficulties.
This time, the scandal includes the sexting investigation into disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner.
Haven't we had enough drama with the Clintons?
Trump sure hasn't. Now there's new vigor to his claims of Clinton cronyism and backroom deals.
The Department of Justice is fighting with the FBI. That's because the Department of Justice is trying their hardest to protect the criminal activity of Hillary Clinton.
Suddenly, FBI Director Comey is no longer part of the rigged system Trump rails against. He also gets to say, "I told you so" about Weiner.
We don't want perverts elected in New York City. No perverts.
Pointing to past tweets, calling him a sicko and a calamity.
It's called instinct, folks. I had no idea it was going to be that accurate. Boy, that was right on the nose.
The Anthony Weiner component has brought this race right into the gutter. At Trump's rallies, the chants of "lock her up" now have a new intensity. Dan and Paula, remember when the presidential contest was about the 3 a.m. phone call at the White House? Now it's about 3 a.m. messages of a very different sort.
Yeah, I think you could argue this race has been in the gutter for a while. David, thank you very much for your reporting from Vegas this morning. As promised, let's bring in ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos, who's going to be hosting This Week later this morning. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
So if you combine this news out of the FBI with the dramatically tightened ABC News tracking poll, are we now looking at a situation where Donald Trump, who was written off by some people, could come back and win this election?
Can't rule it out. There's no question about it. Look, on Thursday night, before this news broke, Hillary Clinton was on offense. She was on track to victory, probably more than 300 electoral votes. But everything stopped dead in its tracks when this news came out on Friday. Our latest poll shows that about 30% of the people say that this makes them less likely to vote for Hillary Clinton. Now, most of those were for Donald Trump anyway, but the question is, will this energize his supporters even more, depress her supporters? We don't know the full answer to that yet. We need to learn a lot more about what exactly Comey is looking at, whether her partisans come back and say, wait a second, this doesn't seem fair, and they end up getting energized. But it does make it possible right now, no question about it.
Speaking of her partisans, supporters and members of Congress really feel their concerns that this could unfairly influence the election. They're pushing Comey to be more transparent and release some of this information. Do you expect him to acquiesce?
It's hard to know what's going through James Comey's mind right now. Remember when he came out in July? He broke tradition back in July when he gave that press conference rather than simply closing the investigation. He said he was doing it because there was such intense public interest in this case. You would think that same standard would drive him to release more details. And of course, you now have that request from members of Congress, from key senators right now, to have them out by tomorrow. But he has shown over the weekend, it appears he defied his colleagues at the Justice Department who said they believed he should not come out with that letter. He did it anyway. Only he knows what he's going to do.
But doesn't he have a case here? I mean, he's getting pounded by the Democrats for going ahead and releasing this letter so close to the election. But if we had found out after the election that he had learned about this new trove of emails and didn't say anything until after the election, he'd be pounded for that.
Right, no question about it. He was in a tough spot, in part because he had come out publicly in the past. I think one of the questions we need to get an answer to, though, did he even know what was in the emails when he wrote the letter.
Wait, I think he's saying he doesn't
Some indication
know.
that he certainly doesn't know the full scope of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it might have had no idea at all. So that's what's creating the criticism for him as well. But no question about it, he was in a very, very tough spot, probably going to get criticized no matter what he did. We'll see what he does in the coming days.
It's almost certain to affect the election in some way. George, thank you very much.
George.
And a reminder that George has a big show coming up. He's going to go one-on-one with the Democratic vice presidential nominee, Tim Kaine. That's later this morning on This Week. And stay with ABC News for complete coverage on Election Day itself, led by George. And it's now just 9 days away.
Next Tuesday. Thanks very much, Dan. And we are going to move on to some breaking news this morning. A powerful earthquake has hit central Italy, close to the same location as that massive quake back in August. Now, damage reports are coming in right now. We're getting word of cathedrals collapsing. And ABC's Jennifer Eccleston joins us from our London bureau with more. Hi, Jennifer.
Paula, good morning. Another terrifying event for central Italy. This is the same area that was hit Wednesday with back-to-back earthquakes. This morning, just after 7 a.m., it was a powerful 6.6 magnitude, and it was centered outside of the historic town of Norcia in Umbria. People were sent running into the street as clouds of dust and stones from falling buildings filled alleyways and roads. Emergency crews on the scene in minutes, rescuing the elderly and some of the town's clergy. Norcia is home to a community of American monks. They've tweeted that they're all okay, but their 14th century basilica is destroyed. Italian emergency services say there are some injuries, but no reports of deaths so far, but they're still assessing. Emergency crews have a huge presence across the region after that deadly August earthquake in nearby Amatrice, which killed nearly 300 people. And because of that huge quake, thousands have evacuated the area. Those that remain know when they start to feel shaky, get outside, and that saves lives. Dan?
Jennifer Eccleston in London this morning, thank you. Now to those harrowing moments caught on camera. Panicked passengers on board an American Airlines flight rushing for the exits when their plane burst into flames during an attempted takeoff. And this morning, some of those passengers are telling their stories, saying they are lucky to be alive. This as the investigation gets underway, and ABC's Eva Pilgrim joins us now from Chicago with the latest. Hey, Eva, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. The plane has been removed. The runway is still closed. It is expected to open later this morning. Investigators now saying that something on that plane's engine broke. The question is why.
Some answers this morning as to what led to this terrifying scene at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago.
Examination of the engine has revealed that the stage 2 disc of the high-pressure turbine failed.
We thought it was going to blow up.
Federal investigators now blaming the accident on uncontained engine failure.
Inside that engine, if you look down an engine, you see blades turning around in there. Pieces of that engine came apart and disintegrated.
Parts of the plane flying in every direction. One piece found roughly 1,600 feet north of the accident. Another in a UPS warehouse almost 3,000 feet in the opposite direction. Let's go! Inside the plane, panic and chaos.
The plane started shaking a little bit. Finally, it came to a stop, and everybody was already running and screaming.
Flames shooting off one side of this American Airlines Boeing 767 with 161 passengers on board. People pouring out the emergency exits down the slides. Investigators say the fire never made it into the cabin, but the smoke was everywhere.
About halfway through getting out, the smoke started to get a little bit heavy, and that was the scariest part of the whole thing.
Now, investigators looking at the evidence collected, as well as examining the plane's maintenance records. Still not sure what caused the right engine to fail.
And if you're one of those people that's worrying about an upcoming flight, experts say it's still overwhelmingly safe to fly here at O'Hare. They say they haven't had an accident of this magnitude in at least 8 years. Dan and Paula.
That's really good context, useful context, Eva. Thank you very much, especially with the holiday travel season coming up.
Just that lasting impression. You just think, what would have happened if they'd already taken off?
Absolutely.
You know. Ron, let's check in with you. I know you are tracking the other headlines around the globe. Good morning to you.
You're right. Good morning to you, Paula, Dan, Diane, and Robert. Good morning, everyone. We're going to begin with a toxicology report that found that Miami's Marlins star pitcher Jose Fernandez had alcohol and cocaine in his body when he died in a boating accident last month. The report says that Fernandez's blood alcohol content was nearly twice the legal limit. The 24-year-old was killed along with two friends when their boat crashed into a Miami Beach jetty. It's unclear still who was driving that boat. And in Prince George's County, Maryland, an Uber driver is under arrest charged with kidnapping and assaulting a female passenger. Police say that Wescania Pierre picked up the intoxicated woman outside of a bar in Washington, D.C., but instead of taking her to her home in Virginia, he's accused of taking her to a hotel room where the alleged assault occurred. Uber says that driver has been fired. And this morning, a warning for Americans in Turkey. The U.S. State Department ordering the families of American diplomats in Istanbul to leave the country, saying it is unsafe. It cites the increased threat of terrorism by extremist groups targeting U.S. citizens for kidnappings and possible assassinations. There's also a travel warning in effect for private American citizens traveling to Turkey. And here in New York City, the Metropolitan Opera was evacuated during a performance after a man was seen sprinkling something into the orchestra pit during intermission. This happened on Saturday. The performance did not resume while it was investigated. It turned out that the substance was the cremated remains of a friend of that man who wanted to pay tribute to him as his mentor by sprinkling his ashes inside the opera house. Police say the man did not realize that he had done anything wrong.
Okay.
And in Virginia, security video capturing what police say looks like an abduction outside of a Walmart. The video from Friday night showing two men holding on to another man, and it looks like he's trying to get away from them as they lead him toward a car. The men then stuff him into the trunk of that car, get in the car, and drive away. That's bizarre. And finally, more heartbreak for Cubs fans like Paula Ferris here. As the Cleveland Indians, yeah, they won again at Chicago's Wrigley Field. The Indians now one game away from clinching the series. Paula giving me the evil eye. Would you stop? The Tribe broke it open in the seventh inning with that home run you see right there, a three-run home run by Jason Kipnis. Final score, Cleveland 7, Cubbies 2. Game 5 tonight at Wrigley Field.
I'm actually going.
And Paula Ferris will be there to reverse the curse personally.
Listen, it's a best of 7, right? We got 3 games
left.
No, it's not over until it's over.
How many times has a team come back from this kind of deficit?
Twice in the World Series, and the Cavaliers came.
Why are you keep pointing your finger at me?
The Cavaliers. Don't we remember the NBA Finals?
Point at Diane over there.
The Cavaliers.
The
Cavaliers came down.
Isn't that a different sport?
It's a different sport, but I'm talking about the city of Cleveland. The Cavaliers had to come back, win 3 straight to beat the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
It's not over.
Filibuster Ferris, keep it going.
Methinks thou doth protest too much. Rob, what's going on?
Well, you know, it's safe to say that Cleveland has the hot hand now.
They do, and congrats to them if they do win.
Speaking of hot, take a look at this picture of Mount Washington, the rime-covered top of the mountain there showing in the foreground, but the background there is the Aurora Borealis, Northern Lights. Beautiful stuff there, shot Friday night. And we take you to the other coast, some lenticular clouds in the Coachella Valley, so the San Jacinto Mountains kind of creating those. So when we start with 2 pictures like that, you know we don't have extreme weather to talk about. That's good news. Extreme heat, though, for this time of year. Look at these records from yesterday. Montgomery, Alabama, near 90. Tupelo, near 90. St. Louis, 86 degrees. 85 degrees in Atlanta, Georgia. And the heat is going to stay. Take a look at this high pressure. It's going to stick around the southeastern U.S. 88 degrees today in Jackson, Mississippi, 88 in Montgomery. Similar numbers tomorrow, and similar numbers, I think, the day after that. Next 3 to 4 days, we'll see record-breaking temperatures. Could see dozens of them, from the 50s in New York City to the 60s and 70s in D.C. by Thursday. So the Northeast getting into the act as well. And beyond that, the next 6 to 10 days. That's a quick check of the national outlook. Here now is your local forecast.
Well, we're heating up quite nicely for this Sunday. Take a good look at these temperatures right now. Already in the 70s, Winchester to Hagerstown, 59 in D.C. Just to refresh your memory, yesterday some of us woke up in the 30s, so quite a difference a day makes. Here's a look at your Marine Corps Marathon forecast. By about 1 o'clock, some sunshine, temperatures in the upper 70s, so stay well rested and make sure you're staying hydrated. Next chance for some wet weather actually coming in later today, mainly between 7 to 11 o'clock tonight.
We will have the forecast for Game 5 of that World Series in Chicago later on in the broadcast.
And lenticular clouds.
Yes,
you made that up.
I did make it up, actually. Sounded cool, though, right?
It sounds very cool, but I don't believe you.
It's a real deal.
I'm going to use that word today.
I thought it was high, thin, cirrus clouds myself.
It's sort of kind of in the family.
You guys, you know what else is a thing? Sportsmanship. And we saw a great display of that on the
Paul is trying to keep the train on the track.
Trying to keep the train on the track. So we're going to head to the world of college sports. And Diane, you have a great story for us.
I do indeed. Talk about sportsmanship here. This happened at the ACC Cross Country Championship. Madeline Adams says She not only started the race feeling great, but she went into